Welcome back to another property tour. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Joshua Guevara. I'm an associate broker with Elevate New Mexico Realty here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Today, we are over here at DR Horton's Montage at Mesa Del Sol. We're gonna be looking at this property right here, 6118 Chicago. It is the Lemongrass floor plan. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,850 square feet, 2-car garage, and obviously 2-story. Starting off, do love the accent front door, love that glass, how it's tempered. Can't really see through, but you can at least tell someone's gonna be standing in your front yard when they ring that doorbell. One thing I do like about the DR Horton builds is they do come with smart home packages. So that's gonna be, if you wanted to get like the panel and you want to be able to control your thermostat and you want to have the Ring doorbell, all that stuff interconnected, they do have that package ready and available for you here in this community and actually any other community that you might purchase from. There's only going to be 2 in Albuquerque, I believe 3 in Rio Rancho, and there's going to be 1 in Los Lunas. So this is a good start off here. I love how the floor plan is open for the most part. We do have the dining area completely separated from the living room, which is sweet. You're looking at a 7-foot island with a granite countertop. Love the dark color for the cabinets. That's gonna be a 24-inch cabinet with a crown mold at the top there. Love the fixtures here over the pendulum lights, like those. There is no fridge. So right now, we'll kind of go over incentives really quick before we start diving into the rest of the home. They are offering 4.99% FHA and conventional interest rates. They are giving $15K in flex cash for appliances or a 2-1 buy down. Now, when it comes to appliances, the ones that are standard is what you already see is here, which is gonna be the stove, microwave, and the dishwasher. So do keep that in mind. You will be trying to negotiate those into your purchase price, which your purchase price is going to be $394,990. So when you're juggling those numbers, you want to just make sure you at least try to get those appliances taken care of because they could be a little pricey. Of course, there is going to be no washer dryer as well. That's another one you need to take into factor. The reason why I love this floor plan specifically is because we do have the master suite on the downstairs floor, which is always nice and awesome. In all the wet areas and the living area, you are gonna have 18 by 18 tile, as you can see there. This is gonna be that half bath that we were talking about. And it's not too bad, decent. Nice little water closet, right? For the guests to go in and out. And then right here is gonna be the owner's suite. Yep, walking on in. Definitely spacious, not too bad, not a small feel at all. You have outlets on every single wall, and you do have your coax and phone line there. So if you are hooking up your devices through the hard line, we'll show you here in a bit where the garage is at. The Wi-Fi box and router can be hooked up in there. And then only the living room and the master bedroom will have those for hard lining. So you can hard line the TV without having to hook it up through the Wi-Fi. Again, 18 by 18 tile in here. You got the 3-inch baseboards. You're gonna have a 12 by 12 tile in the shower. It doesn't go all the way up. So that is one thing you'll have to consider in the event you are a person who likes to take really long steamy showers. You wanna make sure you always have the fan running because you don't want your drywall to get nasty, okay? Love how they separated the toilet, nice little water closet. Same as kind of how you saw in the half bath. Not too bad there. All right, we're gonna have a walk-in closet, nice shelving all the way through. Yep, all right. Good deal, good deal. One thing I always want to mention is with the way they build homes nowadays, you're gonna have vents for the, hi, how you guys doing? Good to see ya. You're gonna have vents that are gonna bring in the cold air, okay? Cold air or hot air. Sorry, trying to show you guys hot air, cold air, okay? And then you're gonna have this one that is like a pressure regulator. Also resends that air back to your system, so it's cooling a lot faster. So it's able to read that temperature a lot quicker and shuts down the system, so it's not having to run so long. Actually, let's go check out the garage. Washer dryer setup, no gas. You're only gonna be using electric. Water box, good little deal. If you ever get something clogged, clean out. Oh, and then here's for the internet. They've made it a little bit simpler. Let me try to pop that open. There we go. So this is where the router would get hooked up, and then bam, there you go. You got a hard line into your living room and your bedroom, master bedroom. So when it comes to those appliances, always remember, like I kind of mentioned earlier, that they don't give the fridge right now, and they're not giving a washer dryer, as you could tell. And the same thing goes for garage door openers. A lot of people think that comes as a standard. That actually does not come as a standard. It ends up being a negotiation piece during the purchase process. Also, they use 50-gallon hot water heaters. In the event you were looking for a tankless, DR Horton would not be the one you are looking to work with, because all of their homes here in Mesa Del Sol are going to be tank hot water heaters, 50-gallon. And then some people might always like to say, well, where's the expansion tank? You know, it's a city code. Well, actually, DR Horton's put pieces of plumbing in the water line, specifically at the city street, to make sure that you don't require an expansion tank. So it has been green tagged, and I had to call the city because I was even concerned at one point that we should have that expansion tank. But after talking with the city inspectors, they let me know that there was pieces added in the street that don't require expansion tanks in these properties. Coming upstairs, we are gonna walk into a loft, which is a nice feel, especially if you have kids. They have technically their own little living room, right? Own little sanctuary right next to their bedrooms. That's another huge plus. So the guest bedrooms are all upstairs, guest bath is upstairs, and of course this nice little loft here. You got a little bit of a view. Not too bad. Decent little view. Get to see some mountains. Good deal. Here is your main intake. So you're gonna make sure you get these filters changed pretty consistently, especially if you have pets. That is always a concern, pet dander. Nice view out of one bedroom. Decent. All right, guest bedroom 1. And then we're gonna go to guest bedroom 2. Not bad. And then we get to see the Spanish tile. Not bad. So that is gonna be a standard, is the Spanish tile in this community. I love the rack for the closet. Always a nice touch. Yep, good deal. Everything's LED lighting. A lot of these are coming with the dimmers, which I like. But just to give you a heads up, I believe they are gonna start getting rid of the dimmers. They are no longer gonna come as a standard. So keep that in mind. If you do like those dimmers that they provide, it actually is a specific brand. I can't remember off the top of my head, but the cool part about these is you can pop this off and the switch itself is interchangeable without you having to get a screw and unscrew the actual, electric line, or sorry, the copper line that attaches to the receptacle. You can actually just pop all this off, which I'm not gonna do just for in case, but you can pop this off and they're as easy as like pushing 2 pieces of plastic and it slides right out and you can slide a new one back in. So if you wanna get dimmers, you can just look up that specific brand and you'll be able to get the dimmable attachment. All right, not too bad for the guest bathroom. Good little touch, always have the air fan in there. One thing I always mention to my clients on new builds is we're gonna get inspections. And another reason why I always say you gotta get inspections is because, when they're building this many houses and things are moving quick, well, you run into issues like that, where there's a whole piece missing out of the Spanish tile. Now, I'm not trying to say DR Horton's maliciously doing that, right? I mean, they hire so many vendors to come in and work on things. Some people just miss certain items. And that's the whole reason for that inspection. I want to make sure that yes, it is a new home, but we're gonna make sure that everything was done right and correct. And if it's not, we wanna make sure we get that into the superintendent, who now will put a list together, which we call it a punch list. At the closing table, technically, you'll come through, you'll do your final walkthrough, and we'll put that punch list together of things that might be still waiting to be finished, right? So for example, we would hope that that missing Spanish tile would get done way before then, but in the event it wasn't, we have paperwork to instill that that is gonna get completed. So I didn't wanna go through the garage, it is locked. So I'm gonna come through the side yard to show you guys what the backyard is. Now, Mesa del Sol wasn't really developed for people to have huge backyards. They're really more of like side yard situations, which you can kind of see here and even next door. You know, it's all side yard. The backyard is not really, it's meant for like the alleyways, just parking your car and kind of coming into your home. The way that they set it up was they wanted people to be able to walk in the front yard, see their neighbors. You know, you got your other neighbors walking their dogs, all that kind of good stuff. So like in this one, well, there was no side door on this one, so it's kind of like you just have a small little hangout area, and of course kind of protects your AC unit from being viewed from the street. This is where the cleanouts are leaving to. So your cleanout, one's gonna sweep into your home, one's gonna sweep towards the sewer line in the street. This is the irrigation box, and that is the water line supplying the home. Here's the back view. So you can see that Spanish tile. Love the light over the address. Not too bad. I like the color scheme on this one. So again, out here at Montage, DR Horton, Mesa del Sol. If you'd like to contact me to see any of these properties that I have on my YouTube channel, please feel free to reach out. You could email j.guevabq@gmail.com, or you can text or call 505-363-7926. I'm always available, and we love to show new builds, especially if you're from out of town. That's mainly what we would like to push you towards, unless you're dead set on a specific resale home. That's just the way we try to make sure we're getting you in the right position. Resale right now is a little slow, so we are seeing a lot of concessions. We are seeing a lot of price drops. So you could make a deal, but with these builders, I've been able to make better deals, especially with those lower interest rates and the guaranteed warranties that they give you. So look forward to reaching from you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your week.